Yugoslavia was born in 1918 as a bold experiment to unite the South Slavic peoples under one state after centuries of foreign domination. With the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman Empires following World War I, the fragmented lands of Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, and others found themselves at a crossroads. Serbia, already independent and victorious in war, took the lead in forging a kingdom that promised unity and strength against external threats like Italy and Hungary. Driven by the ideals of Pan-Slavism and the principle of self-determination, the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes was proclaimed. Yet the dream of unity carried the seeds of its own discord, as deep ethnic, religious, and political divisions simmered beneath the surface. What began as a hopeful union would, decades later, unravel into one of history's most dramatic disintegrations. Yugoslavia's formation in 1918 was a significant historical development shaped by several interconnected factors. To understand why it came into existence, we must examine the broader context of the region, the geopolitical landscape after World War I, and the aspirations of the South Slavic peoples. Here's an extended explanation. 1. Historical background and shared identity. The South Slavs, comprising Serbs, Croats, Slovenes, Bosniaks, Montenegrins, and Macedonians, shared linguistic, cultural, and ethnic similarities which formed the foundation of the Pan-Slavic movement. Throughout the 19th century, Pan-Slavism emerged as an intellectual and political ideology advocating unity among Slavic peoples, especially those living under foreign rule. Many of these groups were under the control of the Austro-Hungarian or Ottoman empires, which suppressed their national identities. The dream of a united South Slavic state was seen as a way to reclaim their sovereignty and cultural autonomy. 2. Collapse of the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires. World War I dramatically reshaped the map of Europe, leading to the disintegration of empires that had dominated the Balkans for centuries. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, which controlled Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia, fell apart after its defeat in 1918. The Ottoman Empire, which had previously ruled much of the Balkans, had already been in decline, losing significant territories in the 19th and early 20th centuries. With these empires collapsing, the South Slavic territories were left politically fragmented, making unification a pragmatic solution for stability. 3. Serbia's role and vision of leadership. Serbia was a fully independent state before World War I and saw itself as the natural leader of the South Slavic unification project. It had already established itself as a powerful force in the Balkans through victories in the Balkan Wars, 1912 to 1913, and its role in World War I. After the war, Serbia's leaders, particularly King Peter I and his son Alexander I, envisioned a centralized kingdom that would unite the South Slavs under Serbian leadership. This ambition was instrumental in bringing together the diverse groups into one state. 4. The influence of World War II. The war highlighted the vulnerabilities of small nations under imperial control and the strength of unity. South Slavs, who had fought in the war, especially on opposing sides, Serbia versus Austria-Hungary, realized the importance of coming together to prevent future domination by foreign powers. The devastation of the war created a political and social vacuum in the region, making the idea of a unified state appealing as a means to restore order. 5. Post-war diplomacy and the Treaty of Versailles. The end of World War I brought about significant territorial and political changes under the principle of self-determination promoted by US President Woodrow Wilson. The Treaty of Versailles and other peace conferences provided an opportunity for South Slavic leaders to negotiate the creation of a new state. The Corfu Declaration of 1917, signed between Serbian representatives and South Slavic leaders in exile, laid the groundwork for the formation of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, later Yugoslavia. 6. Fear of external domination. Unification was also driven by fear of neighboring powers like Italy, Hungary, and Bulgaria, which had territorial ambitions in the region. For instance, Italy sought to expand its territory into Dalmatian coastal regions. Hungary, after losing territories in the Treaty of Trianon, posed a potential threat to South Slavic lands. By uniting, the South Slavs hoped to create a stronger independent state capable of resisting such external pressures. 7. The Proclamation of Yugoslavia. On December 1st, 1918, the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats and Slovenes was officially established, uniting the following regions: Serbia, including its wartime allies Montenegro and Macedonia; Croatia, Slovenia and Bosnia-Herzegovina, which had been part of Austria-Hungary. This new kingdom was envisioned as a democratic and unified state for all South Slavs, although tensions between the different ethnic and religious groups would persist. Challenges and legacy. While Yugoslavia was formed with the goal of unity, it faced significant internal challenges from the start. Ethnic and religious divisions. The South Slavs were not a homogeneous group. Differences in language, dialects, religion, Orthodox Christianity, Catholicism and Islam, and historical experiences under different empires led to mistrust. Centralization versus federalism. Serbia's vision of a centralized state clashed with Croatian and Slovenian demands for greater regional autonomy. External pressures. Throughout its existence, Yugoslavia faced threats from neighboring states and later from Axis powers during World War II. These unresolved issues would eventually contribute to the state's fragmentation and the violent conflicts of the 1990s. In essence, Yugoslavia was formed as an ambitious attempt to unify the South Slavs under a single political entity, driven by shared identity, the collapse of empires, and a desire for self-determination. However, the complex diversity of the region and conflicting national interests made it difficult to sustain this unity in the long run.